Hello, and welcome to the first of our 6-part podcast series featuring voices from the 2026 Old Salt Festival in the Blackfoot Valley of Montana. Like last year, the Roots of Change team attended for 3 days in late June to bring you rich conversations that express the values that embodies the Old Salt Festival tagline, Land is Kin. This first in the series features separate back-to-back guests who are creating change and calling for more collaboration and network power to ensure that a new agriculture is born across the country. Look for more podcasts throughout July and August. Enjoy the show.
Hello. The Roots of Change team once again planted itself on the gorgeous Mannix Ranch, surrounded by Montana mountains filled with grass-rich pastures, trees, wildlife, including grizzlies. Mannix Ranch is one of the 5 partners in the Old Salt Co-op, which owns restaurants, meat processing plants, and a grass-fed beef brand. The co-op organizes and hosts this event to support development of a regional food economy. This year, approximately 5,000 people came to hear amazing speakers, to shop the artisan marketplace, to eat delicious open-fire cooked and food truck fare, and of course, each evening to listen and dance to some of the best country and bluegrass bands based in the Rocky Mountain region. I really splurged this year in the artisan marketplace, snagging a beautiful leather Range Revolution journal cover and 2 handcrafted carbon steel knives, one from Hutch Made and the other from Montana Antler Mercantile. All 3 items are practical pieces of art. But the Roots of Change team comes to Old Salt not to shop, but to engage and learn from those on the cutting edge of agriculture and rural economics. It is a gathering of ranchers, farmers, artisans, and advocates, creating an agrarian culture of regeneration and who shatter worn-out stereotypes of rural America. It is a place that highlights the common ground between urban and rural communities. It is where people know humans need healthy nature and healthy food to thrive, and that a vibrant agriculture is the key to achieving both those goals. So in this first of our series, you will hear from Jose Corona, Chief Agricultural Business Officer in the office of Kat Taylor, who's the brilliant singing philanthropist focused on improving agriculture. Jose runs a farmer-guided team that is building the Agricultural Platform Collective, a mechanism to expand business opportunities for small farmers based in the San Joaquin Valley of California. With a background in economic development and team building, a passionate believer in the transformative power of networks, and we'll explore why. Jose is followed by Conner Hackett, who's the general manager of Stemple Creek Ranch, one of the great grass-fed regenerative meat operations in the state of California. Conner is a longtime collaborator in Rock's work to promote regenerative meat. So we catch up on Stemple Creek's evolution, his family's Humboldt County ranch, and we explore Conner's similar belief in the power of collaboration and networks to create the food system that meets the needs of our time. So enjoy these 2 back-to-back conversations, and through August, look for 5 more dynamic pods with an array of inspiring guests who attended the 2026 Old Salt Festival in beautiful and highly innovative Montana. Let's begin. Jose Corona, great to see you here at Old Salt. You're from the office of Kat Taylor. Actually, last time we were here, Kat was one of our guests, and it's really great to see you. We listened to your talk earlier today. It was fantastic, and that's why we hoped you would join us. But tell us why you came. Why'd you come to Old Salt?
No, thank you, Michael. I'm happy to be here. I came to Old Salt really because of the experience that Kat and the team had last time they came. They came here to support Cole Mannix, the founder of the Old Salt Festival. We met him a few years ago, and we've been following his great work and what they're trying to do. So that model serves right up the alley of what we're trying to do with the Agricultural Platform Collective in the Central Valley in California. So we just want to come here and learn more, share our ideas, but most importantly, just learn.
Great. So, why don't you talk specifically about that project, your role in the Office of Cattailor, and how the collective project is kind of front and center for you now?
Yeah, so and in my role as the Chief Business Agricultural Officer, what I am in charge of is leading all the agricultural programs for the Office of Cattailor. The key initiative that we're launching is the Agricultural Platform Collective, which is an effort right now centered in the Central Valley, working with about 50 farmers, mostly Southeast Asian, Latino, African American, in supporting them in accessing long-term markets. So the big effort is really to make sure that small producers are part of the economy and that they access markets that give them a fair price.
So I've been down to Fresno to see some of the Hmong farmers that are on the outskirts of the town of Fresno, the city of Fresno now. It's not a town, it's a city. And so what kind of give me the geographic footprint of your growers?
Yeah, most of our growers in the Central Valley are in Fresno County, but we work with a lot of them in Merced, Madera, and Tulare.
Oh, okay, great.
So that's the 4 counties that we're focusing on right now, and then slowly finding ways to go southern into Kings County, and then northern to San Joaquin County, and eventually touch other regions like the Central Coast and further northern California. But that's in the future, but Central Valley is our focus right now.
Yeah, well, I liked what you said in your talk about the fact that, 40% of the nation's food comes out of that area, out of the Great Valley of California, which includes really rice country up in the far north, the Sacramento Valley. But it is a huge food source for the nation. And as I think you're indicating, the coasts have done a little better in terms of developing these supply chains of small producers. I mean, through, I don't know, many different channels. But so you're focused on the place that's been overlooked for generations, really.
It's been overlooked and just underrepresented in the economy, not in terms of, but I'm talking specifically for small producers.
Yes, right.
The Central Valley, it's a big agriculture region, as everybody knows.
Right.
But small producers have not truly benefited as much as they should have in this economy. So
yeah, they're on the margins.
They're on the margins, and so that's why we're centering our efforts in those. And within those, it's really the underrepresented BIPOC farmers, Southeast Asian, a lot of Hmong, African American, and Latino. So we're centered on supporting those small producers.
Okay, so typically those producers have survived by farmers markets, right, in the past, but you're doing something a little bit different. So I'm curious about the supply chain as you envision it, or as you guys are building it. What does it look like? It starts with the farm, and where does it go from there?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Most of the small farmers that we're talking about, their market has been farmers market, and farmers markets in the Bay Area. Right. So it's not farmers market in their backyard in the Central Valley. They're driving hours and waking up early, in some sense, risking their lives to sell their produce in the Bay Area, where those markets are. And it's great. Some of them are doing really great. Some of them are not, just like every other farmer. For us, what we're trying to focus is making sure that there's markets in their backyards. There's university systems. There's hospitals. There's other retailers that want to source regionally. So we're trying to give these farmers an alternative market so that it's not either or. So they go to farmers market or another retailer. It's giving them an alternative of what they want to choose. So giving them a more consistent, longer term market, like an institution, we believe is going to help them really increase their sustainability as a farm, but essentially that's really what's going to bring more small farmers into the fold that we're trying to create.
Okay, so just for the audience's sake, we're at the Old Salt Festival, where it is a music festival, and they are now beginning to warm up the bands in the back. They're testing their instruments and their sound levels, so people will be hearing that. But I don't think it'll be too disturbing. It happened last year, and everybody was fine with it. So anyway, so I want to get a little deeper into the business model side of it, because for instance, are you working with if these are local institutional markets, that means there needs to be aggregation so you can get
Yes.
supplies sufficient.
Yes.
So is part of your network the food hubs that are in the region?
Yeah, they eventually will be. We're essentially, I wouldn't say that we're kind of a food hub type of organization. What we are trying to do is really a network of food hubs. We really believe that if they work closely together, we'll be able to make the case that working together as food hubs or other aggregators, we can meet the bigger procurement needs of larger institutions.
Okay, so there are several food hubs. As you know, we're mapping, which changes mapping infrastructure, and we've been down there a lot. There's the F3 project, which is doing some things around this, but there are some food hubs that are down there. Are you contemplating additional food hubs or additional ways to aggregate, or do you think you have enough kind of aggregation hubs as it stands? Are you good in that sense?
I mean, the short answer is we know that there's already good ones that exist. Like you mentioned, there's F3 that's working with some. There's Fresno BIPOC produce that's out there. But there's also other farmers that essentially are aggregators, but they don't call themselves food hubs.
Right. We just met one a few weeks ago, actually, when we were down there with F3. Yeah. She grows sweet potatoes. I forget the name of it right now, but it's a very cool little operation. She's basically a food hub.
Yeah, essentially. So there's farmers out there that are already aggregating from other smaller farmers because they have a market. So, and we're talking people like, Donald Sherman from Sherman Produce. He's one that we're getting really behind and trying to really invest in his own capacity and infrastructure so that he can continue meeting larger market demands and more. He can actually serve more farmers.
Okay.
So we really believe that there's enough out there to start, but it doesn't mean that we can't invest in new ones.
So when you say get behind, does that mean you're helping him with infrastructure investment so he can expand his cold storage or let's see, cut and wash or something like that?
Yeah, it's their capacity to do cutting and washing processing, but also, we're investing in his operation so he can make sure that he has, all the necessary equipment that he needs or grow his own capacity so that he can serve the farmers that we're trying to connect with them.
Okay, so there's 50 farmers down there that you're currently focused on. And do you what's the word? Do you bring them together in meetings? What is your methodology for helping to organize them?
Yeah, we have a team on the ground. We have 2 farmer partnership coordinators that are working in Fresno and in the Central Valley. So they're the ones that reach out to them. They spend their time talking to farmers, what their needs are individually. But we've also launched this new, I would say, program or just effort called the Farmer Social Club, where we bring together all the farmers in more of a social setting. So no agenda other than just, hey, we're going to get you coffee and food and feed you at night. But the connection is just about, supporting each other.
Okay.
And we've had 3 or 4 of those, and they've been really, really successful. And our farmers keep asking for more.
Oh, that's great. I love that. So so the interesting thing there is, as you said, it's BIPOC, so there's probably many cultures, different ethnic groups, and how do you find the dynamic among them? I mean, are there language barriers, or does it all work out?
There are definite language barriers, but at the end, they all speak the same language, which is farming. I mean, I've witnessed just kind of a fly in the wall looking at, a Spanish-speaking farmer talking to a Hmong farmer, and with his hand signals, choppy language, they get it. They understand each other, and I think that's the beauty of it.
Wow, that is beautiful.
We haven't had any, interpreters on purpose because we just want to make that human connection, which is really important. And sometimes they bring their kids, or their kids kind of say, hey, my mom, that's what they said. So it happens that way so naturally. And it's actually, we thought about doing interpretation, but that becomes more like an agenda.
It's official. Yeah.
It's official.
Yeah.
And we didn't want to disrupt those natural connections that are occurring. And that's why I think the farmers are asking for more of that. They want to connect with their farmers, and it's also by size too. A small farmer can learn from a bigger farmer and then get tips from that as well. And then now it's leading to where some of these farmers actually want to visit each other.
Wow.
Just either like, what are you doing in your farm? And how do you do this? And it's just naturally building on that. We talked about it earlier on the panels about relationships. It's all around that. and that's what we're trying to foster.
Okay, good. So, where do you meet when you do this kind of thing? Where do you meet?
Cafes.
Cafes,
I mean,
right where they always meet, right?
Yeah, I mean, my whole background, I spent a long time working with small businesses. So in my DNA is how do we actually support other small businesses? So instead of renting out a room or, sometimes especially in the summer now, it's hot to meet outside.
Yeah.
We just support other small businesses. So we've rotated cafes and we buy the coffee and pastries and food and they just show up. And it's been increasingly, the number of people that show up has actually increased over time.
Good.
So it's a way of supporting our farmers to connect, but also supporting the local economy in Fresno.
That's right. That's good. So let's get into the I think the most challenging part of building a supply chain, which is the end of the supply chain, which is who are the buyers, because as we've talked about in the panels this morning, and I think Mary Berry really brought up this idea of parity pricing that's really fair to the producer and is consistent over time. These small producers have gone to farmers markets where they can get a little bit better price, particularly in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
So what are you experiencing? And maybe you haven't hit this part of it yet. Like, Merced, University of Merced, there's Fresno State, there are hospital systems in the valley, and food as medicine is coming on. We talked a bit about that. So what's your strategy? And if you've begun that work, what are you experiencing?
Yeah, one of our biggest focus areas that we have on the APC, the Office of Cat Taylor, is, for better or for worse, we have access to, these institutions and having conversations with decision makers to say, here's what we're trying to do to support the small producer community in the valley. Having real conversations around could they change the way they procure internally. So a lot of our focus is on developing markets, because we feel that if we can help unlock those markets, whether it's a university system or a hospital system or retailers that we're having conversations with, if we can help unlock and have them secure a market, then we're able to, work with it's not only about, at that point, it's not just APC farmers, but
right.
We know that, CAF works with farmers. We know that F3 works with farmers. We know that other organizations that are aggregators, food hubs, can be part of that. Together we can work together to meet that larger demand that we're trying to secure. So we feel like if we can do that well and we can secure that market, then that's a huge added value to the whole ecosystem.
Okay, good. It is, to me, it totally makes absolute sense. The challenge always is so actually, before we go to that, I want to talk a little bit about, referring to food as medicine. So that really has to do with what Stephen Chen in Alameda would call, organic and regenerative food that is not pesticide laden or produced in ways that are harming the earth or the people that are farming. So as you contemplate this, I know I've been on the Hmong farms where a lot of them are using chemicals. So is that come up? Or do you guys talk about that? Do you have advisors? How's that work?
Yeah, for us, that's really the baseline, is we seek out farmers that are going to meet our values. So we take the time, and it's not, we know that there's a lot of conventional farmers in the Central Valley, and that's okay. It's part of the food system. But given the mandate that we have and our values on, moving towards regenerative agriculture, organic, we seek out those farmers and we have conversations. And if we know that they're using pesticides or synthetic fertilizers, it's just it's an honest conversation and saying, this is what we're trying to do. This is part of our value system. So it's easy to have that conversation when you understand the values and the goals that you have. But you're right. It is a process. It isn't, I wouldn't say an issue, but it's a conversation. And the other part is that, some of these institutions, like you mentioned, Dr. Chen, they are looking for organic, regenerative, sometimes certified. Many of our farmers are not certified.
Right. They're too small.
They're too small. It's expensive for them. They don't have the long-term tenure to the land.
Right.
So there's issues to being completely certified, but our markets, our buyers are starting to understand that they may not be certified, but they're starting to think about it. Could we do a transitional program where we know that these farmers, we can engage them, but towards a process where they start becoming regenerative or transitioning into those ways. So,
so that's a developing piece. It sounds like one thing that we've learned. We have this growing grass project. It's a USDA funded. Used to be the Commodities Partnership Project. Now it's called AMP, the Agricultural Market Promotion Project. So that project, we actually cover the cost for certifications. That goes a long way, I think, because certifications can, particularly if you're talking about regenerative organic, that's really expensive, or EOV, really expensive. So that kind of support, I think, can be quite helpful for these small producers particularly.
100%. I think, and those are the kind of things that we need to know about so that we can help connect efforts like yours to the efforts that we're trying to do. Because I think the last thing that we want is to create another program like that.
Right.
And that happens all the time in philanthropy. Philanthropy sometimes follows a shiny object.
Right.
And, there's a lot of shiny objects up there, but it's also already efforts that are up and running that are actually doing really good work, like the one that you mentioned. So how do we actually know about them and integrate them so they're all working together to that? And we're stacking resources that at the end, we're all trying to better serve the small producer.
So that gets us into this. We have 5 minutes left, so I really want to talk about this piece that you mentioned that I really resonate with in your talk. This idea of trying to connect more between all these different things that are going on, these kind of silos of organization and aggregation, because they're all over the state now. Yeah. They're all over the country. We're hearing about them here in the Rockies, and last night we sat with someone who was from Kansas who's doing something. So I mean, it's interesting to think about that. How do you see those connections being made, and what could it produce?
I think at the end, the way that I described it in the talk when I mentioned it was creating a network of networks. And I think the challenge of that is just how do you web it together? And how do you make it connected and intentional so we all are working together and knowing about each other? We're working with an organization called the Open Future Coalition to help us develop this platform, both a technology platform where we all can understand the resources available for small producers, everything from capital to land access to technical assistance, and then obviously connection to markets. But it's also, in a way, bringing together on a platform the different models that exist, not only in California, but also, one that we're in right now, Old Salt. The Old Salt was founded by, the Old Salt Co-op. So there's co-ops out there. Cody, that also spoke on the panel, he has a co-op around cattle. So there's so many out there, and I think that the beautiful thing is, like, how do we all connect with each other? How do we all learn from each other and build this network? Because if we really believe on regionalizing the economy, we have to have that network effect and connect with each other. So it's less about scaling a farm or a ranch, but scaling the connection.
A system.
It's creating a system, exactly.
Yeah, scaling the systems, right?
Scaling the system.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's it. So to me, this is also a manifestation or an indication of the maturity of the efforts across the country to create regional food systems. Because, we used to, back in the day, all the food systems were regional. And then we lost that through industrialization. Now we're re-regionalizing. But 10 years ago, 5 years ago, everyone was just focused on trying to get their silo going, trying to get their system going. So this is a sign of maturity in a way to me, a sign of the fact that there's another stage before us now that has to do with linkages. But again, I'm very curious about what will that do for us? Will it, when I say us, I mean those of us who want to see this. Does it raise the profile so everybody sees it, or does it lead to more funding and government support for that kind of thing? Does it get more institutions to buy? What is it that you want to see from that?
The short answer is all three.
Okay.
I think I want to see all three. I want to see more connection among each other. I want to see institutions buying into this regional approach. And I want to see more visibility for the work that we're all doing. And it does take capital, and I think it does different types of capital. There's philanthropic, there's impact investing, there's other, traditional banking, private equity. All that is needed to what we're trying to do, because we're not going to tackle this issue of toppling capitalism, industrialization as it is now. We can shift it, but it takes a lot of different forms of capital and resources, including the government, to do their part too on the policy systems change side.
Yeah, that is interesting. I mean, we ran into it when we were doing the work on trying to get the University of California, working with Marilyn Biscotti, who you mentioned, who's been a great ally. But the challenge of what the University of California can spend on food. I mean, that because it's public money, there's all kinds of hindrances to them just deciding, hey, we want to do this. Now, obviously, Santana did it at UC Davis.
Exactly,
Chef Santana did it. The chef that you talked about in Merced,
Chef Mitch.
Chef Mitch in Merced, he's done it. And we know, I think, Santa Cruz, I mean, Maryland said there's 5 universities now that are buying out of these systems and buying both regenerative meat and vegetables. So it can happen. But like what we've run into at UCLA, and it'd be really interesting to see what you think. UCLA, they're just like, we're not going to buy California regenerative meat. We're going to buy it from Australia. That's what they're saying. It's cheaper. Yeah. So what do we do about that?
For me, it's a long play. We're not going to get to that overnight. I think it eventually, you show that it's good for small farmers. It's good for the economy. At the end, they're going to realize it's good for them too.
Yeah.
Whether it's from the economic side, but also maybe from the marketing side.
Yeah.
At some point people follow and get in line when either their economy, their economics gets impacted or their image gets impacted.
Yeah, I think that's what you're saying. I mean, particularly as climate and all the other challenges that we're seeing in the world today heat up, literally, that will put more pressure on people to do what they can in their place.
Yeah.
To mitigate what's happening.
And that's one of the things that Chef Mitch said at UC Merced is that they have an educational program in the cafeterias where they educate their students of where food comes from. And then eventually it's the students that ask for it. Yeah. So at UCLA, maybe the powers that be wouldn't want it now. But if their student body starts asking for, we want better food in our cafeterias and what you serve us, then they have to listen to that.
Yeah, so that's the social movement piece, right? Exactly, so there's the business side, there's the social movement, and there's policy. All three of these things have to work in unison. But anyway, this has been fantastic, Jose. Really good to see you here. Are you going to be here the whole time? You have to go home, or where? How long are you going to stay?
No, I'm going to soak it all in. I'm here till Sunday, so I'm going to immerse myself in everything that Old Salt Festival has to offer. Yeah. So I'm just glad to hear, and thanks again for having me here.
Yeah, there's so many cool people here from all over the country. That's what makes it exciting, right?
Yeah, a lot of good people.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Conner Hackett from Stemple Creek Ranch. Great to see you here from our home country, California and the Bay Area. So what brings you to Old Salt Festival?
Thanks, Michael. Been wanting to come for a couple years. The last 3 years, I've had conversations with Cole. I've got to know Cole pretty well over the last couple of years, and it's been this event has been an inspiring from looking at it afar. It's been an inspiring event on a lot of levels. The way that he brings together the community, the way that his business is propping up a community, it's something that we like to do as well at Stemple Creek Ranch. We hold events every other week. Nothing to this scale, but hopefully maybe someday we'll get there.
Yeah, I just went to your last event. It was awesome.
The
spring big dinner, the spring dinner. That was great.
That was a great event.
Yeah.
And like we said at that event, for us also, it's about creating community. We're not a meat company. We're not a ranch. We're really about creating community. And I think that's what Old Salt has done. So just to be a part of it here and just to experience it and to meet people and talk with people that are trying to do things that we're doing, some people that have the same struggles that we have, and sharing ideas, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, you were on a really good panel this morning. There were actually 9 different speakers broken up into three-person segments. And I thought it was quite interesting, and there was kind of cross-pollination going on among you as you were speaking, because you could hear themes, you could hear common concerns, common successes.
Yep.
The biggest success I heard was this community building thing.
Yep. That's what drives our business. That's what allows us. We were talking about this earlier. Being a price maker and setting a price that people will pay in this extreme economic environment of, the true cost of what we do and raising the cattle the way we do it, it costs a lot of money to bring that to the table. And people pay it because there's a story there. There's trust. There's a connectivity. There's a personal interaction there with our customers. And if you don't have those things, you can't do that. And so that's what allows us to continue to do what we do.
Yeah, I buy from you in two ways. I buy online. In fact, the day before I left, I had to write your people and say, don't send it because I'm not going to be home for 2 weeks. But hopefully they got that. But if they didn't, I'll get an email and then I'll have my sister pick it up. But the other way I buy is I buy through a local market. I like to support Oliver's Market, which I think is one of your good customers.
One of the best.
Yeah. So they have 4 markets, I think? 4. Okay.
About to be 5.
And I'm saying this is not a criticism of you because this is the market. But when I started buying your meat there, it was like, for their best steaks, $25, $26, $27 a pound. It's now $35. I keep buying it because I want a really good cut of meat. I'm going to eat it once or twice a week. I'm going to have a piece of meat like that, and I'm going to pay that price. Are you seeing a diminution of the amount of people that will pay that much, or is it steady?
It's steady.
That's the proof in the pudding.
It's the proof. It's people are choosing to spend more on nutritious, high quality food that it also keeps the dollars in the community. And I think people see that, and I think people want to support that. It's $2 spent in the community is worth a lot more than $1 spent in, it going into the commodity system. And that's what we try to support.
Yeah. And I'm not your typical consumer, but I am, I think, reflective of a set of consumers in the country who see their food systems are shaping the world.
Yes.
Their food system choices. So you guys are riding that wave. I think it would be interesting for you to just talk about the array of products.
Yep.
Because I have noticed your packaging has changed in the last 2 years. So talk about that.
Yeah, so we're still predominantly grass finished beef. That was what we built the brand on, and that's continues to be our flagship. But that's also the area where we've gotten so much cost pressure on cattle price inflation and things like that.
Insane right now.
But so we've diversified as it makes sense to do on the ranch with pastured pork, grass finished lamb. We've always had grass finished lamb, but it's becoming a bigger part of our portfolio and our story. And we just recently partnered with Big Bluff Ranch with Tyler Dolly, and we're selling his chicken. Exactly.
Wow. He was at our Stemple. He went to our event last fall, which you guys got to be at next time.
The slow food.
The slow food event, Terra Madre. He came and he spoke. He was great.
He's great, and that move for us and partnering with people like that is kind of part of our evolution too. It's really about bringing more people to the table, more producers that share our values, that do the same things that we do in terms of our decision making on the ground. Not compromising the decisions about the land and the animals and the quality of the product. Those are the kind of people that we want to support and work with. And so it's allowed us to grow and widen the net, and it allows us to remain more profitable as beef margins get compressed. We can diversify and keep product at those have much lower price points too.
Yeah,
so we can.
Yeah, the pork. I just had one of your pork chops the other day. It was really good.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
that's the old Llano Seco genetic line.
Yes, right.
That's part of the pork we're raising now.
That's great. And who you guys raise it on the ranch?
We do.
Okay,
we work with another producer in Humboldt County that raises the same genetics. We've got him started.
Okay.
To be able to expand our numbers a little bit.
Wow, that is totally cool. So one of the things that I really wanted to dive into with you about is what you mentioned in your talk. This whole question, and actually Jose Corona, who we met with from the Office of Cat Taylor, also talked about it. This need to start linking the silos of brand or aggregation around the country related to meat or related to vegetables. It doesn't really matter, but people have been re-regionalizing all over the country trying to build regional food systems. But they're all working in silos. You mentioned this.
Yeah.
And as the need to evolve to a new place, and I want you to just riff. Like, what's behind all that for you? And just go for it. Just you imagine, what you want to get out of it.
This is kind of a blue ocean topic. I don't have a lot of concrete answers.
That's all right.
It's more questions.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what I was leading in with my talk with, and that's also why this event is powerful, because we can have those conversations about, whether it's dreams or riffing on some ideas, but you get to this point in your marketplace, and we still have a long way to go. Stemple Creek has a long way to go in our region. We have a long way to go with growing our direct-to-consumer business. But we have this incredible opportunity to link up and share war stories, share knowledge.
So learn from each other.
Learn.
Were you the one that said about not making the same mistakes?
Yes.
The capital?
Yes.
Yeah. Say that. Repeat that for the audience here.
There's a lot of wasted capital, wasted time, wasted blood, sweat, and tears, wasted money, wasted effort. Repeating the same mistakes that our contemporaries are making all over the country in different regions.
Right.
Now, everybody's doing something a little bit different. They've got their own little spin on it. Regions are different. Agriculture is different. Political situations are different state to state. But there are a lot of business principles that ring true. And those are the things that are worthwhile to share, with our friends across the country. Old Salt being one of them. What they're doing here is an inspiration, and it could be a model to replicate in other parts of the country as well.
Yeah. In fact, we should mention that Old Salt Co-op, which is behind this big, beautiful event, just dropped off their snack sticks. They look great. I'm looking at the one that says Vital Blend, made with beef heart, beef fat, and beef liver.
Oh,
which I feed your burger. You have a grind that I use my dad, who's 94 and is anemic. I feed it to him once a week.
The primal blend with the heart and liver.
And it's really good for him, and his blood's gotten better because of it. So
yeah.
It works. So that's very cool. I'm glad that that came into being here. So how do you imagine this would happen? How would we get this network of sharing started? Would it have to happen like once a year at an event for 3 days, or could you see something ongoing? It just seems like no one has time.
I could see something formalizing more frequently, whether it's a boardroom of some founders that get together, or some CEOs that get together, or some managers that get together. The key stakeholders get together that can talk about this stuff. More frequently would help. Everything's changing so quickly.
Yes, it's incredible.
If I talk to somebody like Cody 6 months ago, he has a completely different business going on, some completely different problem he's working on right now, and I have a similar. There's so much dynamic change in our businesses that it would help us a lot if we could structurally come together more frequently, at least to talk about some of these issues we're having.
Yeah, I think that's a cool idea. Maybe we can help with that. So I have to think about that.
Yeah.
But just so the audience knows, the concert portion of the Old Salt Festival is beginning, and the music's coming right into my microphone. But it's good.
Nice background for our talk.
It's nice background, yeah. Nice background. And we haven't even mentioned what a beautiful. Last year at this time, it was raining so hard, and the tent we're in was almost collapsing. We were having to push the water off the top of it. But today it's absolutely stunningly gorgeous. Must be like 75.
It's beautiful.
Sunny, big clouds in the sky. Tay's getting sunburned over here, or tanned or whatever. So I'm just kind of curious about, you said some things about your business over the next 3 years in your talk. You want to repeat that here? What you want to see happen with your... Oh, actually, you didn't, because they cut you off.
Didn't get to do that.
We ran out of time. Yeah, tell us what you would like to see happen with Stemple Creek over the next 3 years.
Stemple Creek Ranch is, we're currently about 70% B2B, restaurants and grocery stores, and we're about 30% direct to consumer. I'd like to see that flipped in 3 years. I'd like to keep the B2B where it's at, maybe grow a little bit here and there. Find out how to do that optimally, but really focus on the direct to consumer. You mentioned price. We mentioned being a price maker, providing a stable price to our ranch, to other ranchers we work with, the producers. That's the whole reason why we do this. And direct to consumer is the best path to do that. because it's about that intimate storytelling.
Right.
Me, sitting across from you and talking to you about the product.
Right. And I get invited to your events.
Yes.
And I can go to the ranch.
Yes.
And so 70-30 direct to consumer using, internet and
Yes.
shipping. The shipping operation, that must be a big piece of work.
It is. We have a new facility in Petaluma where we're doing our distribution from. We're planning to, this fall, open up a small retail space there that's going to help too. Next week, we're launching our pickup option. So all of our Bay Area direct, online e-com customers can come to the hub.
So I could pick it up in Petaluma and not have it
Petaluma.
shipped anymore when I'm driving north or south.
That's going to be an option.
Okay.
Or at the ranch.
Okay. Great. Okay, that's good. Curious, your family
Yes.
ranches, I was up there at your place, I don't know how many, 5 years ago now,
Yeah.
4 years ago. And you have a beautiful place up there. I know you're in the timber business, but you're also raising animals.
We are.
Are you part of the Stemple Creek supply chain?
We do. Yes.
Great.
So, Stemple Creek, we had a lot of finished animals that we only have about 50 cattle left on our ranch, but we have about 2,000 ewes.
Yes,
So our
sheep
sheep
is a
herd
big deal.
has been growing.
Yeah.
And we are a key supplier to the Stemple Creek program.
Okay, so when I buy lamb, I might be eating your lamb.
Could be.
Okay.
Most of it's still grown in tamales, but like beef, we have to rotate seasonally too. Like a lot of times, certain times of the year, Humboldt's got a different grass season than Tamales does. It might have a different season than up in Shasta. So we do rotate some of the animals around.
Yeah, because I did notice, man, when we were up there about a month ago.
In Humboldt?
In Humboldt, and there were a ton of animals out on the coast near Arcata there.
Yeah.
I mean, there
In
were
the
just
bottoms.
a ton of animals out there. And I was thinking, I bet a lot of those are from other ranches that are sending their animals up here to feed.
Yeah. It's a beautiful area. It's tough because we lost our processing plant,
Yes.
USDA processing plant a couple years ago.
Right.
My family still does a small little meat brand locally, and we've had to really jump through a lot of hoops and put a lot of cost onto that meat to continue to do that. We're continuing to do it, but it's very difficult.
I have a question. Why did you go? What were the reasons that you decided to focus on sheep versus the beef?
It's a good question. We're with where the market has been. It's maybe not the best decision, but
you made that before all this happened.
We made it before it happened. We thought that we have cultural tradition with it. My family does, and the area does, for example.
Yeah, wool was big, right?
Big, very big. We have a personal passion linked to it and a family culture to it, and nobody else is doing it. So we thought we might
stay in it.
We want to be the sheep people in Humboldt.
Great.
And historically, the commodity market has been a huge problem, and predators have been a huge problem. But our use of livestock guardian dogs now, and there's a lot better ways we can handle that today.
You guys don't have wolves yet, do you?
Not yet.
No, but you have coyotes.
A lot of coyotes.
What about lions?
We have lions. They're not a big problem though.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Well, I don't know. As you think about, this is where the end here, but when you think about what you want to get out of the next 3 days, what is it?
I mean, I've already had 3 amazing new connections that we're able to mutually exchange some piece of what we're doing that's helpful to each other. Completely random. And that was in the course of an hour after I made that talk this morning. That's what I hope to get out of this.
Okay, well, that reminds me, actually, because my cousin ranches down in southern Montana. I'm going to go down there after this and spend a few days with him. And he's going to be here tomorrow. And one of the things that they have grass at a different time sometimes than you guys. I mean, is it too far for California to ship cattle to Montana to be finished or for fed for some period of time? Is that too far?
It is right now. I don't know with how the economy changes and how things changes and how
because of fuel
change.
prices.
Fuel price is a big deterrent right now. Yes.
That's too bad because even back when when you were before you went to Stemple and you were coming to our work, our projects around meat.
Yep.
One of the things we were trying to do is figure out how to get people to move animals to each other to finish, and it's just so hard to do that.
Yep. It is.
I guess people do it individually. You've done it, right?
We've done it. Yeah, we do it, but it is there is a huge economic burden to that, and we do have enough cattle right now in California.
Good.
And enough places to finish them properly.
What about slaughter?
Slaughter's a problem.
Yosemite, is that where you're going?
We have a good situation right now. We have a great relationship with them. I don't know what the future holds, though. There's not a lot of other options. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah, I guess there's one opening up north of Sacramento in the foothills.
The small one.
Yeah, small one, too small for you maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, well, great to see you here. You're going to be here all till the end?
I'll be here till the end.
Okay, we'll see you again then.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Michael.
We hope you enjoyed the show. Please share it with your friends and listen to our next monthly episode of Flipping the Table, hosted by Roots of Change, a program of the Public Health Institute, a nonprofit organization dedicated to building a healthier world.